Chicken cat, brilliant! Sweats it in!
Hello and welcome to the Plastics Podcast, circa 2022. You're joined by Maddie Gaylor. She waves, Blair Lacrosse.
Hey.
And myself, Jacob Burke, as we bring in the new year where nothing will ever go wrong ever again. Blair and Jacob catch up on the beginnings of the happenings of the holidays, the big games over the league. Also, it's transfer season. Lorenzo Insigne gets his Christmas bonus, and a host of other familiar names shuffle around or to the European continent. Lastly, some housekeeping and hot predictions from the Plastics as we usher in another year of sick content. Sick content, Maddie. Pew, pew, pew.
Let's go.
Oh shoot, I deleted that app on my phone too. It's okay. We'll do a post. Don't worry. Yeah. So Blair and I were just talking about Leicester, Liverpool. So we'll paste that in for you right now. Boop. I don't know if Leicester were feeling like, oh man, we're dying out here, or if it was more of this is all going according to plan. Rodgers is sitting there rubbing his hands together on the sidelines as he watches Liverpool futilely try to get a goal. And I can't remember who scored for Leicester.
Lookman, it looks like.
Okay. And I think it was off a counter.
It was, yeah.
So,
I saw the goal, but...
yeah, so, I mean, like, it was like, if that goal had to happen, given what Liverpool were doing, so it makes sense logistically, but if you took a look at the numbers themselves, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I saw a 2.5 XG to 0.6.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things. It's those kinds of games where you have to, where you're clearly through the eye test, looking the better team, but it's a matter of grinding those kinds of wins out where it's a really hard 1-0 victory over a Burnley, or in this case, a Leicester. That. No, it wasn't meant as an insult. It wasn't meant as an insult. I'm saying that as these are teams that are not easy to play away, and that when you are going for a title challenge, it's not all going to be 3-1 or 4-0. There are going to be these games that have the flow of the game going for you, but the results aren't there, and so you have to have that sort of either A, luck, or B, buckle up mentality to get these kinds of results. And Man City have showcased it, and Liverpool haven't.
So the Mohamed Salah missed penalty in the 16th minute.
Yep.
Did anything change after that? Or, I mean, was that like a kind of demoralizer?
It was a huge demoralizer. Did the team look
frustrated?
Obviously, because Salah, at the season he's having, on the spot, and we know XG for these things is like 0.75 or 0.7. It's crazy good.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not and I don't want to talk about XG with a penalty, but when you look at it from a numbers standpoint, 2.5 minus 0.7, that's still almost like rounding up 2 goals there in XG. And that was with a penalty. And you take a look at games and you see, oh wow, 3.1 XG to, 0.5. That's really good for this one team, but it was 3 penalties. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why. No, this was a penalty that was the culmination of hammering their defense, and it just didn't go. And I mean, Salah's been in fine form this season, so it wasn't like he let the pressure get to him. I think it was just one of those things that happens. I mean, Kasper Schmeichel had a great game. He played out of his mind.
Yeah, looks like he had man of the match performance. I don't want to
I don't want to do the thing where they talk about how the big team, or the quote big team, bungled it, and the quote smaller team doesn't get talked about because that's the way the media works. I'm just speaking to this from a Liverpool fan standpoint, and so I'm going to talk about it through Liverpool, and it just was something that Liverpool weren't able to close the door on. And Leicester pounced on that, which is something that I think was huge for them because they had been struggling going into the holiday season. And so this must have been a real morality boost. moral boost. They automatically became better as people.
Morale.
Yeah, the morale.
There were 12 shots between Jota, Salah, and Mane, but
Yeah.
only 2 on target, which is rough.
Right, but I think a lot of those came really close inside and were maybe deflected wide, or they didn't get 2 goal because they came off defenders.
Yeah, so interestingly, Salah had 4 shots, but his NPXG was 0.2. So the quality of the shots seems
0.2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mane and Jota both had pretty solid.
Yeah. And so we were on holiday, right? So I didn't have like my phone or notepad in front of me.
Yeah.
I was just kind of mindlessly watching it to relax. And so I'm not going to say what defensively Leicester did, but I think that they probably marked Salah out as much as they could because, I mean, any team that was paying a half an eye to Liverpool would have been like, yeah, we should probably not let this guy get into a lot of open space. And Firmino's injured. And obviously every team going into this is going to be limping in some fashion, except, I don't know, somehow Man City. I don't want to talk about that.
I think we know how.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it looks like, the block stat is sort of an imperfect one to use here because it can be anywhere on the field, but it looks like Leicester's defenders were blocking a lot of shots and passes, I guess. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I do want to stress again. Leicester played great.
Yeah,
they absorbed pressure well. I think it should have ended in a tie, just based on the amount of chances Liverpool got. However, Leicester said, "Fuck the narrative. We're gonna win this," and good for them for doing that. I think that, and they are in the top 6. No, what place are they in, Maddie?
9th or 10th.
Okay, well that's a big 3 points then. Especially at King Power, you get to celebrate with the fans, so it's really good, really, really good. Good, Leicester, good. Liverpool, less good. Is the old narrative now?
I think Kieran Dewsbury-Hall also looked like he had a pretty solid game. Pretty young player he's 23, but yeah, a newish player, I guess, for
Royalty.
the Leicester side. But yeah, I think the part of the match that I saw, because I had to leave because I was traveling, but the Leicester fans were singing his name. I think they were pretty happy with what they saw from him.
Dewsbury Hall.
And Lookman, like I think he set like a pretty solid performance this season. Every time I watch him, I feel like I'm pretty impressed with what I see from him. So Maddie's shaking her head up and down to agree, not in agreement. So, and she's a Leicester fan.
So we take the Maddie stamp of approval with Lookman.
Something should be said about our defense.
Okay.
The fact that 2 of them are midfielders. We have 0 defenders healthy currently.
Right. I think Leicester have been super hampered with COVID and injuries. Yeah, so I think it's something to be said that Leicester maintaining the right top half of the table is impressive in and of itself.
We also have no offense.
Also,
now.
Brendan Rodgers is now in the slump part of the season where he seems to be his coaching style seems to have taken a bit of a dip. So if he can just turn that around, I think they'll be in good shape towards the last bit of the season, provided they don't do a repeat of last year.
We have 15 senior players out.
Yeah, no, bad times, FC.
So, yeah, Liverpool had 17 shots inside the box.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of
It's a lot.
So I think maybe a tie would have been generous. I mean, not generous, appropriate here, only in terms of the score sheet. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And it's coming from a place of bitterness because that was a huge, huge stumble, and it would have totally changed the conversation on where the table stands, which we'll get to later. Just to wrap it up, Leicester 1, Liverpool 0, December 28th. Blair, you were traveling. I was here. And I think our closing thoughts on that were good for Leicester, bad for Liverpool.
Yeah. I think basically bad for Liverpool, bad for the title race in the league.
Bad for the title race. You know what else is bad for the title race? Arsenal 1, Man City 2 on New Year's Day.
What a way to
I'm going to just read my blurb on this, and then I will let you launch into your thoughts.
Okay.
This game was large for the title race. Man City may be getting fortunate with a getaway result against a showy Arsenal. Full stop. Blair, thoughts?
Yeah, it was super disappointing, man. In a way, okay, so it was disappointing. Headline. Top.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Main headline, it was disappointing. Okay. Subheading, but it was also kind of cool.
Okay. Disappointing, but cool.
Yeah.
Name of...
My Sex Life.
There you go. I was going to let you finish it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to, you didn't have to. We can just cut that. Hey, we'll do it in post.
Yeah, we'll do it in post.
I like the collective
Who's we?
It's the royal
Who's
we.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't play well in these games. Period.
When you say these games,
in games against the title contending teams for sure, but the traditional like Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, like we've gotten some results against Chelsea when they had Lampard as the manager, but like, you know, it's hard for us. We don't typically play well against them, unfortunately, and I thought we played exceptionally well in this game. Maybe the highest level I've seen this team play as a group in the entire season.
Here is something I'm seeing. And maybe this, if you can tell me if this is unusual with Arsenal against Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal forced City to respond. They go up in the 31st minute with a Saka goal.
Yeah. No, it's not usual. So like you'll recall when the season started, we played City the second week of the season, and Xhaka got sent off with a red card in like the 11th minute after he realized this game's over. So I'm going to go ahead and rest. And he like went 2-footed on a guy.
Sorry guys, I got to go.
Yeah. So that was his contribution to that match. We ended up losing 5-0. I think we ended up with like 13 touches and the opponent attacking third. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. And I wanted to erase it from my memory.
Okay.
So was kind of
let's
like...
not talk about it. Let's talk about this game.
What was interesting to me was kind of doing a comparison between that game and this one, because they had like 25 shots on target, 25 shots that game and like 5 goals, and like the XG was like 4 or something. It was like they slaughtered us. It was awful. And that team was also completely different. We played with the back 3. Sayed Kolasinac started. Like Callum Chambers started. We haven't seen those guys basically since then.
To be clear, that was the opening salvo in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, the first game. Sorry.
Thank you.
The first game.
I just want to make it obvious that not this game we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, like right after that game, we went out and bought Takahiro Tomiyasu because our right back situation was dire, and that was clear. Made clear in that game. Conspiratorially, Arsenal fans kind of think that like we threw out like a pretty poor right back option to get slaughtered, so we could convince the board to put up funds for the player.
The tinfoil hat on?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, whatever. Make of that what you will. But like it was a thorough defeat, and so this time around it's like okay, like hopefully we just like look okay. And we looked better than that, I think. I think we looked better than City for 50 minutes of this game. And then we unraveled with some mental mistakes that were really disappointing. And the team, like the Arsenal, really need to address those if they want to be competing with a team like City at this level.
Okay, so you mentioned mental unraveling, and I think that's great. But I want to talk about the showcase Arsenal put up in the first 60 minutes.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So Kieran Tierney pings it to Saka, who puts it in.
Yep.
Can you take me through that goal, specifically on whether it was a cross field, whether if it was through an open player, or whether if it was in transition? Because I did not watch this game.
Well, the game was at 7:30 a.m. for us on East Coast, and I sort of rolled out of bed on New Year's Day after being out until pretty late. So my recollection of this is kind of fuzzy, but I believe it was sort of in transition, and the ball was sort of cut back from Tierney to Saka, who was running towards the center of the box, and he makes a nice shot towards the lower right corner. It was a good finish, and yeah, we sort of caught them in a bad spot, and we had them under pressure for a good part of the opening minutes of the game, and we were kind of discombobulating them a lot when they had possession. So I thought we looked like we were on top. We looked more energetic, more composed, and City looked surprised to see us coming at them as much as we were. And I think the goal was earned. We definitely deserved it. Definitely deserved to be up. And it was a nice finish from Saka. So
now let's transition to the 57th minute. I'm looking at the ticker here. Sorry, the 55th minute. Granit Xhaka gets a yellow. 2 minutes later, Riyad Mahrez converts a penalty.
Yeah.
Gabriel then immediately gets a yellow card. 2 minutes later, Gabriel gets a second yellow card and is sent off. And 4 minutes later, Bukayo Saka gets a yellow card. In the space of less than 10 minutes, we've accumulated 4 yellow cards and conceded a penalty. What happened?
So the penalty was a situation where Silva was kind of driving along the byline in the box, and Xhaka is there one-on-one defending him. Silva gets the ball around him. He's going to make his move to run past him, and Xhaka kind of like sticks his leg out and then also kind of his arm on his back, and Silva makes the most of it, to be fair, I think, to Xhaka, but I think it's a foul in the box. Gives away a penalty. Xhaka looked like he realized he was beaten, and Silva is very good at doing that. So he did some things that very much look like penalty-worthy, penalty-worthy actions that you can take as a defender in the box. And Silva was like basically on his way down when Xhaka made contact. He definitely did some acting. I'm gonna put my Arsenal hat on there and say that because he was diving, but
Okay.
But like Xhaka, like if you look at the replay, like his leg's out, his hand is on his back, and he's got a hold of his jersey. So, I mean, like you have to give that penalty, in my opinion, just because of the optics. I mean, it looks like a foul. So that was rough. There was a lot of dissent about the foul after it happened, after the penalty was given. And that's where I think Gabriel got his first yellow card.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was from him kicking the penalty spot before the player took it, before Mahrez took it, but it actually was for dissent, and Atwell gave him the yellow. A couple minutes later, Ederson takes a goal kick. It's going towards Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel is the one that's marking him. Jesus kind of gets him on the turn, and Gabriel basically like throws him to the ground. Second yellow within 2 minutes, and he's sent off.
Was that 2 yellows deserved? Because the second one I saw, it seemed soft.
The second one, like, if you're going to give a yellow, I think that's the one. I don't know what he said in the dissent, when he was talking to the referee. Arsenal fans will say that Atwell lost his cool and, suddenly got into the book a lot more in the second half. The game was pretty physical. It was a really physical game. Atwell was letting the players play, giving some warnings, that sort of thing in the first half. And then the cards seemed to come out in droves in the second. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what he said to him. Gabriel speaks Portuguese. I don't know if he spoke in English or Portuguese, but whatever he said, Atwell did not like. So he gets the yellow, and then 2 minutes later is giving him another yellow. So
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously this all unravels. I don't want to talk about the game events further because that was, I think, the big swing.
Yeah.
Mara's conversion, Gabriel red, Arsenal are forced to play with 10 men. Now Man City are allowed to leisurely step into the driver's seat and finish the game out. So where do you see Arsenal now as a top 4 team challenger January 9th as opposed to start of the season?
It was really eye-opening to watch. I didn't think we had that in us.
Okay. So you think this was something that perhaps Arteta brought the team to, or the team brought Arteta to?
I think it seems like it's been both. You know, the players are stepping up. Goals are coming from the attackers. You know, they have, you know, solid link up. They've got good ideas in the attacking third. We haven't really seen that. You know, players are switched on. They know where you know they're going to be. And you know, I think we've looked defensively pretty solid for most of the season, but you know, the attack now is starting to turn on, and we're scoring. I think we scored 17 goals in December, and I want to double check this, but we scored like 19 goals through our first like 10 games. So that's
pretty good December.
A big step change in goal scoring, and I mean, to do it against Manchester City, who's a very, very solid defensive team. You know, I think basically we should be able to score on everybody. So I don't know. I mean, if we play like that, if we play front-footed, even when we went down to 10 men, like the possession number is like awful, which of course, but even when we went down to 10 men, like Gabriel Martinelli almost nicked a goal. There was a moment where Man City was all messed up at the back. I can't remember who it was, but a player, it might have been Rodri, headed it back to Ederson, but Ederson was running out to the ball, so Rodri didn't see it, so he heads it over to Ederson. Ake has to clear it off the line, and then Martinelli runs into the box to try to hit it at an open goal. And if you look at replays, Atwell kind of gets in his way, and Martinelli has to get around it. I guess there's angles that show that like he really doesn't have to adjust. So like whatever. It's weird that he's so deep in the box though. I think maybe he's trying to check to see if the ball cleared the line because it was right there. But also there's goal line technology, so I have no idea why he was there. But Martinelli missed the net and hit the post. So that would have put us back up 2-1. So like we still had chances. Martinelli got 5 shots off in the game.
You seem enthusiastic about this, so I assume you feel very good going into this the final half.
If Arsenal play like that for the rest of the season, we're going to get top 4.
Okay.
But like
I'm looking at your goal difference right now compared to the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to incite anything. I'm seeing 1.5 XGD for you.
Yeah.
And Tottenham at 8.5 XGD.
Yeah, so like Tottenham, I think very very much have a good shot at 4th too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to a top 3 solidly top 3 class of teams. So what we're saying is who's 4?
Yeah, it's between Tottenham and Arsenal, I think.
Okay.
And I think that will like be like partially decided in the North London Derby.
Big.
That's coming up. So it's like a huge game. It's next weekend.
Next weekend? We going to the Arsenal bar for that?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. And by great, I mean this is bad for the season because as everybody knows, Man City are in first with how many point clear? They're 10 points clear off of Chelsea at the moment with admittedly a game in hand. I mean, Liverpool still have to play a game to catch up, so that could be 8 if Liverpool win, but 10 points is pretty comfortable going into the second half of the season.
Yeah.
They've got 21 matches played. That leaves 17 still to go. A lot of points on the table, but the way Man City are chugging along, they could once again defend the title, go home with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's in everyone's interest, and I'm talking to all the teams here. It's in your interest to beat Man City.
Yes, please do.
So I'm sure everyone coming off of the holiday break, I know other bigger podcasts have gone back earlier than we have. We kind of just took some time because we all had to leave New York for the holidays.
Get out, they kick you out.
Yeah, and then we wanted to take a week to kind of assimilate back in. I, for one, honestly, we didn't do this. Blair, how was your holiday break?
How was your festive fixtures? It was good, dude. I had fun. It was good being home with the family, seeing the nieces, and eating some food.
Yeah.
Getting some visits from Santa Claus.
You stick around Cadillac mostly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cadillac, Michigan. He wasn't stuck in a car. So that's good. Yeah, I also had a great break. That's the only game I watched. The Liverpool-Leicester game was the only game I watched over break. I did not see anything else.
I think I watched West Ham Southampton.
Okay.
The 3-2, I think it was.
So like we all three of us, I believe, collectively took a mental break.
Big old break.
No, Maddie's shaking her head. You just kept diving in. You got home to Portage, flipped on the TV, and we're like, all right, time to sit back down.
Stay away from me. I have work.
All right. Well, Maddie kept in the game, so we didn't have to. And so we are now getting back in. That's why we kind of took a week. It's been roughly 3 weeks since the last episode, or will be once this drops. So it's going to take maybe a couple more days for us to really get back into the swing of things because a lot has happened. It's transfer season. You know what that means?
Yeah, Barcelona are doing financial crimes again. We don't know who their guy is.
We're going to talk about Barcelona later because I want to do the Premier League ones first. I moved it around a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but you want to talk about, speaking of Barcelona and La Liga and La Liga players coming to Newcastle. Kieran Trippier, huh? What about that guy?
Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, he really tripped up and went to Newcastle, right? Or
He's tripping.
Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, so Newcastle need defenders, Jacob, because their defenders are bad.
So
that simple.
This is raring hot analysis.
It's an interesting move. Kieran Trippier is 31 years old, going on 32, because that's how time works.
Yep.
He's a England international, plays at the right back position.
/ right wing back.
Yes, / right wing back. That's a good point because they have used a 3-5-2 in the past. This season, I think Howe is moving a little bit closer to a 4-3-3, but Trippier fits into both. To me, I see this as a experience locker room, dressing room purchase. They're trying to get somebody who will be a leader. And they're getting an older player who's got experience. He's an international player, doesn't start for England, but he has that kind of quality where he'll get on the team. And it feels like they're trying to find somebody who's going to kind of get everybody on side and try to make this push for staying up.
Survival.
Signing a right back when the core of your defense is very problematic isn't going to solve your defensive problems. So obviously they're going to have to dip into the market again. It sounds like they are interested in Sven Botman from Lille.
Sven Botman, yeah.
Botman. Yeah. Lille are reluctant to sell him. They're making a Champions League push. So,
while they can.
Yeah.
This is a do or die situation for Lille. So obviously they won't sell him unless the offer's attractive.
Yeah.
In which case, not really an issue for Newcastle anymore, is it?
Yeah. So, Kieran Trippier is not a guy you are going to build a team around. He's not a guy that you're looking to the future with. He's very much like I think this season signing.
Okay, so this is going to be a theme throughout all of these transfers. I disagree.
Okay.
I think our current understanding of where the quote player's prime exists is conservative.
Sure.
I think at 31, Kieran probably has at Newcastle, if he stays, 4 years there.
Okay.
For a couple reasons. One, Newcastle is going to be under this wild West transition phase for probably 3 or 4 years, where they are going to be willy-nilly plucking guys from, it'll be like a merry band of misfits.
Yeah.
To try to assemble not only a team, but a culture around this new era of the team.
Yes.
2, Kieran Trippier played for Atletico Madrid. He is a guy that knows how to survive under a Simeone system, which is not something to take lightly. He'll probably lose his shape coming to Newcastle. And he knows how to play defensively very hard, which is something that Newcastle need. But he also has a killer right foot. So he can bomb it to, say, Alan Maximin, who they basically use as the entirety of their offense.
Yeah. I think 4 years is a long time.
I think it is too.
For fullback?
Yes.
35 years old.
Yes.
I think, so are you saying he's going to start for 4 years?
I'm not saying he's going to start for 4 years.
Okay.
I'm saying he's going to start for 2 to 3 of them. I think he's not going to be a Cancelo or a Reece James or a Alexander Arnold. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be this guy that goes, this is me waving around the air and like simulating him running all over the field. Uh-huh. He's going to stick where he is. Mm-hmm. Because Newcastle aren't Chelsea, they aren't Man City, they aren't Liverpool yet. And it's a matter of time, but he can play this defensive structure that Newcastle basically don't have right now. And so I think that's a great point. A more senior voice in a locker room that has played for Tottenham, that has played for Atletico Madrid, and won a title with Atletico Madrid.
Yes.
So he can tell the defense, like, hey, form the fuck up and let's, get a line going. And so
yes,
I think this is a great signing, especially for $16.5 million.
Yeah.
$16.5 million. So
Trippier's not a bad player. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What they were using Emil Kraft, Jacob Murphy, and Javier Manquillo as their fullbacks or wingbacks, depending on which system they're using.
Yeah.
And those guys aren't especially great at progressing the ball. Their passing numbers are poor, and that is where Trippier, I think, brings improvement to them.
Yeah, I think they're going to... This is just me. This is speculation. Diagonal long balls are the new cool thing for Newcastle.
Yeah. Newcastle are not a high possession team. In fact, they're the lowest in the league. I think that Trippier is a good player going forward. I don't know that he brings added defensive solidity to them, but he is certainly an experienced enough player where he's not going to have like a ton of stupid mental errors. Like
he does have that in him, admittedly, the stupid mental errors part, but you didn't really see that at Atletico.
Yeah.
That might be a coaching thing. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a bad signing. I think that basically whatever you can do to improve the defense that they have at the moment, which is tied for the second worst on goals in the league and has the worst XGA in the league, that's a good thing. And that's where it's obvious that's where they need to address first. They have to work from the back front because they can score goals. They have decent attacking players, but their defense is just horrid. So
I got a closing question on Kieran for you.
Let's hear it.
If Newcastle go down, does he stay?
No.
Okay. So you think championship level team, but on a nice cushy salary, he goes maybe to a Crystal Palace?
Maybe he does stay. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're late in your career and you think you're Premier League level talent, which I think Trippier can be,
I think he is. Yeah.
Then like you're probably not happy playing in the championship on like the sort of precious remaining years of your professional career. And you've just come from a title winning Atletico. So, mixing it up with the Barnsleys and the Nottingham Forests of the world and, getting your ass kicked 46 games a year, not scoreline, but just physically getting your ass kicked. I don't know. I feel like he probably would have eyes on a better gig at a more prestigious league. No offense to the championship. It's a tricky one because Newcastle won't be in the championship for long if they're relegated. So at least I don't think. But
no, I don't. It's do you think then Newcastle will survive this season?
The numbers say no.
The numbers say no. What about that other number? The net worth number.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, they're on 11 points, so they're only 2 away from safety. So, I don't know. I mean,
they did just get knocked out by Cambridge United in the FA Cup.
And Trippier was on the team. And apparently he was trying to get the players to go and applaud the away stands, and a few players ignored him and walked down the tunnel. So there's trouble in paradise there. I think with some investment, that they have a pretty decent shot.
See, that's good though.
Overcoming Watford.
I like that. I like getting the players to applaud the away stand.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I was like, this is like a leadership buy in my opinion.
For sure.
But
anyway, enough about Kieran. Let's talk about me. Sorry, Philippe Coutinho. I mispronounced that.
Yep.
Yeah, so Philippe Coutinho, cool midfielder for Liverpool, then Barcelona, or winger, depending on who you ask, has been loaned to Aston Villa, who is paying 65% of his wages and with a buy option, should they decide to keep him, for $33.5 million. Pretty pricey for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
After spending all your cool Grealish money, I think. I think they spent it all. Yeah.
Got to be pretty close.
So what I said here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to redact some of it because I think this was a bit too much, but I'll say it since I've written it. Largely a sad transfer of Philippe and a weird career post-Liverpool. Will he rejuvenate on a side that has a greater need for his talents in Aston Villa? And Blair asks the pertinent question, what the fuck happened to Leon Bailey? And my answer is, took a muscle injury and was reported out till as recent as last weekend's fixtures, might make a return next league match.
How long was he out with the muscle injury?
3 or 4 weeks. It was pre-Christmas.
Okay, because I think he's played approximately 400 minutes in the league this year.
Blair, your thoughts, because I do have some stuff written down about Philippe Coutinho.
Coutinho is one of those guys where it's like, I haven't seen it from him. He had like a decent spell, I guess, at Bayern. Helped them in their Champions League run, especially to beat the team he was on loan from, Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I mean, he's obviously a talented player. The Christmas tree formation thing, I guess, like you can load it up with these sort of attacking winger midfielder guys and tell them to have at it. I'm just thinking about Watkins, Bailey, Buendia, Coutinho. They bought Ings this summer. And I guess, I mean, that's a good rotation. That seems like a pretty good rotation. So, yeah, I guess it'll kind of come down to what Coutinho's expectation is. If he's saying I should be starting each week, I mean, maybe he will. I mean, Bailey can't get in the team, so there's a spot there for him. But, yeah, I'm not sure exactly if this is like a big game changer for them or just kind of a nice depth option, to be honest.
This goes into what I said earlier about Kieran, is that I think Philip has this crazy narrative around him because of the sudden dive he took after Liverpool in form. He's 29, I believe now, which is by no means ancient. He's still got a lot of years left.
At least 6, right?
At least 6 to 8 to 10, yeah. And so this is my thing. He played well at Liverpool. At the time of transfer, he was their number 1 or their number 2. I can't remember when Mo Salah had that crazy goal-scoring run. But he went to Barcelona, who at the time was walking the league. I think they lost 1 game that year.
Yikes.
And was heading to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So to say I'm going to leave a 4th place Liverpool for a 1st place Barcelona doesn't seem like a stupid move, despite the place that Barcelona is in now and the place that Liverpool is in now. He goes to Liverpool for a 143 million euro transfer fee, I believe. And which is just, we're not going to talk about the amount and why it was that, but he goes there and then he struggles to fit in, whether it's injury and whether it's trying to fit in with the front 3 / midfield of, at the time, it was Messi, it was Neymar, not Neymar, sorry, it was Messi, Suarez, Dembele, I believe they also bought that year, Rakitic in the midfield, Busquets, There was another big guy in the midfield too. It doesn't matter. So it was, and Philip is also a systematic player. He's not a guy, and like this was made obvious once he left. He's a guy that fits into a certain style of play, and Klopp designed this Liverpool offense around his talents because he's in this weird in between spot of being a front three man and a part of a 4-3-3 in a midfield. So it's not like he can just come to Barcelona, slot in to a team where the entire point of the team is to orbit around Messi and try and get the most out of him. So his form dipped, his injury is picked up. That might be a physio thing in Barcelona. I don't know. And then Barcelona decided to explode. And then he went to Bayern on loan with the option to buy, I think, for something crazy like $100 million euros. Sorry, I'm mixing these up. Let's just stick with dollars for the future since we're in the US.
Cool.
And then he won the treble with them. He didn't slot in as a starter, but he was a good player to have when bringing on the field to, say, score 2 goals against your former team in a Champions League semifinal. And so he, I guess, had a weird maybe catharsis there. Comes back, doesn't fit in again, and now he's just kind of on the fringes. That's not to say he's a bad player. I just think he's had a really rough time into a club he's idolized since he was a child. And that probably does a wild, wild number on your mentality.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not to lay it at his feet, but I feel like the Coutinho transfer is probably part of the precipitating factors that led to Barcelona's financial situation.
Yeah, spending $143 million on anyone is something
ill-advised.
Something you can do, certainly.
Yeah, and
2/3 of the Neymar money.
Yeah, so wasn't wise. They didn't get out of him nearly what they paid for. So that's a whole other story.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be sort of interesting to see. I mean, hopefully he can, I guess, get some more consistent playing time, and we'll see what happens. But this is like a hard one for me to read because I don't watch a lot of Coutinho. I don't really know what he can do at this point. But
I think getting him on loan to only pay part of his salary is a great deal for Aston Villa for this last half of the season. The buying option, I said the number earlier. I think it was 30-something, 33.5.
33.5.
I don't know. I mean, like, you can just make that decision at the end of the season. Did he do well? I mean, and he's playing with a former teammate. I'm not playing for a former teammate in Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
So I think Gerrard knows Philip Coutinho and he knows what he can do. And so I think maybe the board might have come to him saying, hey, Gerrard, Philip Coutinho, thoughts, feelings? And then he said, well, he's pretty good. I played with him. I know how to use him. So it's not like he's coming in blind saying, oh, Philip, that's your name? Great. Where are you from?
Sure. It's a good landing spot for him.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know how he'll fit in with Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, and Emi Buendia. But I think personally, Philip Coutinho becomes a nailed-on starter if he doesn't totally tank in his first couple appearances.
You would hope. I mean, you would hope because you've got a player who's you're only paying part of his wages, but it's still over £100,000 a week. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're paying him like a starter, and if you have him just sitting on your bench, that's like not a great situation. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a great point with with Gerrard being a former teammate. I mean, that's obviously a big factor in the decision making for sure. So. Yeah, I mean that seems like it would make sense, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's good to have depth anyway. Cool. So,
do you want to talk about Everton?
Everton are very bad.
Cool. Let's talk about Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Cool. Let's let it rip, Jacob.
Yeah. Okay. So Ainsley Maitland-Niles on loan to Roma. I will just let you take it away here, Blair.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Maybe I'm not ready for this.
In your own time. In your own time.
Yep. How do I cast to it?
Just play it.
Arriva Maitland-Niles. Está arrivando Maitland-Niles. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Arriba Maitland-Niles.
Yep.
All right. So
yeah.
can you explain what that was for those of I don't know what that was.
I don't fully know what it is myself. It looks like a Roma fan made an ode, if you will, to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Very excited about this signing. This fellow is. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them that they're super happy about this move. And Roma are up 3-1 right now in Juve, and I'm pretty sure Maitland-Niles started, so that's pretty cool for him.
You want to verify that for us real quick?
Yep, he started at right back.
What?
Yeah. So,
okay. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, former Arsenal player, current Roma player,
yes.
on loan.
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, so he's played for Arsenal in and out of the team for like 3 years now. A few different managers have used him. He's been primarily, I would say most of his minutes now have come at right back or right wing back, given the number of systems that Arteta's chopped and changed through, and also towards the end of the Emery era when he seemed to have forgotten all about soccer tactics as a whole. So he's played a lot of minutes there. He actually looked really great at that position. He got an England call-up playing at that position, and you know, I think his skill set really suits that role well. He is he has a high energy, high, motor guy. He can run forever. He can recover well. He defends well. So, that's position suited him well, but he personally wanted to move more centrally to defensive midfield. And so he went on loan to West Brom, played there. And basically, at the end of it, Sam Allardyce was like, if I was Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I would play whatever Arsenal's manager told me to play. So not necessarily like the most glowing review of his abilities at defensive midfielder, but he persisted and insisted on playing in that position and has gotten some minutes there this season under Mikel Arteta, which is a little surprising, I think, because of their relationship seeming to be kind of fractured most of the time. But he looked pretty good. I mean, he did the job, and I think he covers space well, and that's a pretty key part of playing defensive mid. So he's kind of got a good like center fielder kind of skill set. So I was curious to see how Jose was planning on using him, and it's interesting to see that he's at right back once again. So I think that's probably this position that suits him best. But he said in the past he wants to play defensive mid. He's played there. He said he wanted to be a winger at one point. He's not played there and will never play there, I don't think.
He's trying to find himself.
So, yeah, he's trying to find himself at the tender age of 24. So,
hey, I'm still trying to find myself. Okay, let's not say that.
Yeah. The thing with Ainsley is that he has always just kind of been sort of an enigmatic guy. You don't really know exactly like where he wants to play, what he wants in his career. And that's probably the fault of Arsenal, quite honestly, because they haven't been clear with him on where they see him and where they're going to use him. So I think that could certainly muddle a player's thinking.
If I were a player,
yeah,
just personally, me as a person, I would not want to play for Mourinho's side ever. It sounds stressful and mentally taxing to be harassed like
in
that.
The media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think Ainsley should make this permanent? Do you not see him as a Arsenal returnee?
Ainsley should make a permanent move somewhere else.
Okay. You want him gone?
It's not like I want him gone. I think he can do a job for us. I don't think he's a starter.
Okay.
And I think that he is a good enough player to start for somebody else.
Yeah.
And since he's not going to get into our team, he left to go to Roma because he wants consistent playing time. That's what Arteta said, and that's kind of been clear from Ainsley this whole time. So I think this is a good move for him personally, and it's just time for him to go out and, get minutes. So walking straight into Roma's first team, I think is a good sign for him. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how this whole stint goes with Roma. They're a big club, and he's working with Mourinho, so that's a very much
something.
two-sided sword. So if it's not Roma, maybe somewhere else. Premier League clubs have shown interest in him in the past. Wolves did. Obviously he went on loan with West Brom when they were up.
He's just
Everton have shown interest.
He's not an Arsenal tier player.
I don't know if I would say that. Like, I think he could have been a starting right back if he just stuck with it.
Okay.
So
you seem reluctant to nail him out of the squad.
Yeah, because I don't think he's a bad player. I think he is certainly somebody who I would want in the squad. He's the second best right back in the team, and he doesn't play there. So like from an Arsenal perspective, it's good to have.
Okay.
Cedric sucks, no offense. Chambers sucks too. So it's just like not a great situation when you start looking down the depth chart in that position. But no, I think he's a good player, and it's a good get for Roma. So there's no purchase clause as far as I understand it in the deal.
Yep.
Just a straight up fee with a bonus. It's about a €1 million range total out the door. And I guess both parties have committed to talking about a sale in the summer if it should suit each. So we'll see. But I think it's a good move for the player. It's a good move for Roma. And honestly, like, I think it's kind of just like Arteta said in the media, like, I had a conversation with Ainsley at the start of the season. Arsenal fans will recall Ainsley kind of imploring the manager to let him play or let him move on Instagram via an Instagram story post that he made.
I do. I think you might have said something about, that seems childish.
Yeah, so you did do that, and he stuck around anyway. Played in the team for 4 months, and then wasn't getting the minutes still. So I think it's just kind of finally doing right by the player and letting him move on to greener pastures.
Fair enough. Maddie, how you doing?
I've drawn a monster face planting into a wall.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm great.
Nice.
Did you want to talk?
No.
Okay. Maddie has been doodling some logos for us. She's written down some ideas, I see. Some geometrical shapes. And some squigglies. Little circles.
All good
it's
stuff.
A monster. He's holding onto the wall right there.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, no, I see it now. That's actually a pretty good amount. It looks like it's from Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Tight.
Arsenal are about to get knocked out of the FA Cup by Nottingham Forest.
But who are they? Okay, are they playing Baby Boys?
I haven't seen the lineup, actually.
Maybe just young men. How about that? We'll say young men.
Nope. Except for the midfield.
What's the score?
1-0.
What's the time?
88th minute.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think they're gonna get knocked out, man.
Who's in goal for Nottingham?
Samba.
Damn it. All right. One day you'll get your start.
Who is it?
Ethan Horvath.
Ah, right. Of course. I should know that.
That's okay though. We'll move on to our last big boy transfer. I'm sorry, large man transfer. Ferran Torres for Barcelona for $60.5 million. Ferran Torres was sold to Barcelona with the promise of becoming a franchise player, as they put it. How will he fit in? In parentheses, I have. Remember, Memphis Depay still exists. Blair has added, in all caps, where did the money come from? Where's the money, Lebowski? Per Fabrizio Romano on January 8th, 2022, Barcelona director Mateu Alemany says, quote, "We can't register Ferran Torres yet. Philip Coutinho loan to Aston Villa is not enough, but we've now operations underway in order to register Ferran. Talks ongoing," end quote. So I read into it, Blair, because I did. Where did the money come from?
Yes.
And unclear so far.
Yes.
I didn't find any definitive answers. I do know that the unexpected retirement of Sergio Aguero did free up some of the cash for Ferran Torres' salary. He did take a pay cut coming to Barcelona.
Okay.
Because he does honestly want to play some soccer. And I think with the leaving of Philippe Coutinho, it does free up some of their salary cap. We were reading with the the new COVID rules, the previous cumulative salary on Barcelona of $450 million has been reduced to 123, which is $123 million, which is just under, I think, what they want. So I think this will even out for everyone. As for Ferran Torres himself, I do have a takeaway. Blair, did you have any thoughts on it?
What's your takeaway?
I'm going to just read straight up what I wrote. Ferran Torres in a vacuum is a good signing for Barca. Depay has shown inconsistency and a lack of desire to play for the team. Barcelona need to continue the transition away from an offense that relied solely on one player. Signing someone who has demonstrated positional versatility on a serial winning side and wants more minutes is a great thing. He's only 21 years old, and doing this to a tune of 60 million isn't necessarily a bad purchase. However, as a team, you are not in a position to make these kinds of deals after the summer you've had. While Sergio Aguero has retired and Philippe Coutinho has been on loan, 60 million might just be too much for a team like Barcelona who's in dire straits. Not the band.
Yeah, so okay.
Good business from City, 36 million.
Yeah.
Buy, 60 million sale.
What? I don't get that. Like, Ferran Torres played for City for a season and a half. 1 season?
No, it was more than a season.
He moved from Valencia to Man City in August 4th, 2020.
Yeah, it's 2022, baby.
Yeah, so
Season and a half.
Season and a half.
The
The fee was $36.85 million.
He went to the trademark Guardiola School of Soccer.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, what I've seen from this player is that he is now worth almost double what Man City paid for him.
Yes. Yes, he is. Yes. And I think there's a Barcelona tax involved. Oh, you're Barcelona. We'll up the price a bit.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how is Kylian Mbappe worth $174 million?
Yeah, no, it's true.
All of these are arbitrary numbers.
So
because it's sales. These teams are commissioned. So it's if you say, well, you really want Ferran Torres? We don't really need to sell him right now. We can keep him because we're Man City and we're doing fine on our own.
Yeah.
But you want to buy him? That's your word. So we're going to sell him to you for $60 million. No more, no less.
I think that Barcelona very much need to stop paying the Barcelona tax.
I think they need to stop buying offensive players.
Yeah, I bet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep signing these forward guy. Yeah, they did. But did they really want Eric Garcia?
And I think they paid a pretty good amount of money.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. That aside, I think. So here's what I was thinking. Hang on, I have something written down from the Barcelona Granada game that I didn't plan on revealing to the public.
Just his private journal.
Sorry, Eric Garcia was a free transfer, to be fair.
Gosh, if I can only read my own handwriting. If anything, this point in time in a change for Barcelona has forced them to play their youth, which is needed to sustain the kind of model they are currently running. Barcelona are a team that have made their name in La Masia.
Yep.
The, quote, best academy in the world for young soccer players. It's what brought Messi to the table. It's what brought Xavi and Iniesta to the table.
Conrad de la Fuente.
And equally in the same category of conversation, U.S. international men's winger Conrad de la Fuente.
That's right.
And if they want to, they are not Real Madrid. They don't bring in these guys for big sums of money to play this weird show-stopping, Showtime Lakers soccer. They are the guys that raise young talents to the level which only their academy, according to them, can bring. And so they've got all these young guys that they're starting to play under Xavi, which is great. And I think I don't know if Ferran Torres went to La Masia.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They're playing a lot of young players, and I mean, in the game against Granada, I think their youth kind of cost them in the end because Gabby made some poor errors to get a second yellow card. He had 2 really ill-advised sliding tackles that sent him off.
Sorry.
So yeah, he came from Valencia to City, but yeah. So in the money to me still just doesn't really make sense. I don't know exactly what Barcelona's kind of squad building plan is with this team. In a bubble though, in a vacuum, Ferran Torres is a player who, I mean, he looked like he had some bright moments at City. He looked like a good young player who still needs to get rounded out a bit, but you can use him in the center of the field as central forward. You can use him on the wings.
Yep.
He's a pretty versatile attacker. So, it's not like they're making a bad signing. He's a promising attacking player at a young age.
Yeah.
So those aren't bad, squad building principles to have in place to buy young players and to develop them into what you want, especially when they show kind of flashes of talent like Ferran Torres has. There's also, we were talking about the Ousmane Dembele situation. He wants everything and the sun in his new contract.
There was you said, I don't know if this was if this is a quotable number.
It was from the Metro.
Okay, we won't say it then. Yeah, so he wants a large sum for his new salary, and as someone who, while as demonstrated yesterday, the most technically gifted player on the Barcelona team, misses the final touch, which always seems to go just a bit too far for him, and the shot on goal for someone who famously is advertised as 2-footed cannot get a goal shot on target at all. So I think if you're Ousmane Dembele and you want to play for a team and make a lot of money for a team, you need to play better. That's obvious, but he's asking for way too much money for the current amount of value he brings to the Barcelona side. So Barcelona have said that they are willing to sell him, as well as the old faithful Sergi Roberto to somewhere else. So if they can get these old, calling Dembele old, these old stale guys out of the roster and bring in these newer guys like Ferran Torres, who is a signing for the future, as you've said, it's great. I suspect he said, you are going to be a franchise player as our clear forward man. Memphis Depay, who was signed as the franchise player and the clear forward man, isn't panning out.
It's Luke de Jong.
It's Luke de Jong, the Sevilla star. So yeah, that's the current situation on Ferran Torres. I will be watching Barcelona a lot because I'm very interested to see, 1, how their youth does, and 2, how Dest does in case he decides to stay and try and fit in and ahead of Dani Alves, who's back.
Yeah. Dani Alves,
the best player on the field yesterday, 38-year-old Dani Alves.
Putting in the assist to Luke de Jong's
it's crazy.
Beautiful header.
Yeah. Yep. Did you see the picture of Dani Alves saying, I would never go to Real Madrid? Because, and then I think, was it? No. It was... never mind. Forget. We're going to cut that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see whatever you're talking about. Sorry.
Okay. That's the transfers for the large international superstars of the world. Let's talk about the transfers that matter, though, really quick, because I'm seeing our time and we've gone over.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the United States transfers to Europe this time. 3 big boys that went. Let's talk about Ricardo Pepi to FC Augsburg. Blair, you watched the game in which Pepi featured as a first-time sub.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
So I was disappointed because I think Augsburg have some pretty cool home kits. The green and red stripes are pretty clean. I'm a big fan. It's kind of gets you in the Christmas mood as well. So didn't get to see those. There's like a white...
It's January 10th.
Yeah, whatever. I'm always in the Christmas mood. Not really. So that was a disappointing aesthetic change, but when I flipped it on, it was Hoffenheim 2, Augsburg 1, and Pepi came on. I want to say around like the 55th, 60th minute. He had about a 30-minute cameo with the team. So what I saw in that time was Augsburg were lumping the ball along to their 3 forwards and kind of hoping that they would be able to do something. That was their attacking plan from the looks of it. They didn't really hold on to the ball much in possession. They didn't really try to work it to the midfield a whole lot. So, yeah, it seemed like a lot of spray and pray, I guess. And it didn't really result in much for them. So there were a few moments where, Pepe could have been played through, but, some players had heavy touches, lost the ball, whatever. So, he didn't really get to showcase much of what he brings to the team. This is an interesting move, in my opinion, for Augsburg because they seem very much like they need some ball progressors, especially in the midfield, and they didn't buy one. They bought a forward player instead. Pepe's not really that. He doesn't really carry the ball great distances. He doesn't really pass the ball progressively a whole ton. He's a decent passer, but he's not going to be their main guy progressing the ball for them. So the service to him will be interesting to see how they manage that for the rest of the season. Augsburg are making this move for the simple fact that they don't score many goals. They're on 17 for the season, which is exactly matching their XG. So I guess in one sense, it's good that they're not underperforming and leaving goals on the table, but in the other sense, they're on 17 goals on 17 expected goals. So they're not really creating a whole lot of goal threat this season. They're second to last in the Bundesliga in shots per 90. They don't have great goal creating or shot creating actions numbers as well. So their attack just isn't that great. They're like a middling defense, and combine those two and you've got them in a relegation fight. So, they need goals out of their forward men. Right now, their main guy is a forward, kind of center forward, Florian Niederlechner. Sorry for pronouncing your name terribly. And he's on 3 goals this season. So that isn't great. And he's been rumored with some transfers away from the club. So not sure they're going to hang on to him or not. So he's also kind of struggled with some injuries this year. He's only gotten 442 league minutes for them. So yeah, Augsburg's attack needed some rejuvenation. Sure. And that's where Ricardo Pepi comes in. So
it's pretty fully encompassing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I didn't see that game.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch. He looks like a good physical presence. Pepi does. He's a pretty big guy, and he throws his weight around well and creates a pretty big target. And we've seen that he can be kind of threatening on set piece plays as well. And Augsburg might play around that. So
he's fast and he's tall.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have.
So we will watch his career with great interest, and we hope to see him succeed in the Bundesliga, which is great because German soccer, I believe, is great for Americans. So moving on to probably, I think, the coolest transfer of the 3 we're going to talk about, James Sands to Rangers in Scotland.
Yes.
I think this is the most clearly horizontal move for a player. For a recent MLS Cup winner, James Sands, for the New York City FC.
Let's go.
And he comes to a Rangers side that is recently on top in Scotland as a mover in the midfield. He will get some European action, which is fantastic. And he will be playing in the Scottish Premiership. I think the second oldest league in the world. So it's great to see, and I think he hasn't played yet because there's weird work permit issues when it comes to moving to the UK. So I'm just looking through it, article on it right now just to make sure. Yeah, I don't think he's played yet. So I think I'm very excited for this because the Rangers have famously just won the Scottish Premiership over Celtic, and for the first time in, I think, 10 years or so.
Under the tutelage of
under the tutelage of, Steven Gerrard, but who's Rangers manager? Chris Woodward is the current Texas Rangers coach. Giovanni Von Bronkhorst is the current Rangers FC manager, Dutch former soccer player. At the age of 46 years old, born in Rotterdam, Netherlands, and a height of 5'10".
He has sea blue eyes. He enjoys long walks on the beach.
Oh, you know what that reminds me? Ferran Torres' birthday is on a leap day.
Really? So he's like 4?
Yeah, he's born on February 29th, 2000.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was also born in 2000, so you can take that away. So he's actually only like 5 years old. Yeah.
Well, happy life. Have a good life.
Happy life, dude. Whatever. Yeah, I thought that's cool. I think it'd be cool to be born on Leap Day because then you can like celebrate your birthday on both February 28th and March 1st.
Yes.
Basically.
You want to hear something else, Jacob?
Yeah.
Today is Ricardo Pepe's birthday. Happy birthday, Ricardo.
Happy birthday. I think he's 20.
19.
Oh my God, he's 19. He's got so much time, dude.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Okay, this is great. This is great for the U.S. Lastly, we're going to talk about Daryl Dike for West Brom. Daryl Dike, weird trajectory overall, given Orlando. Played for a college in Virginia, went to Orlando, loaned to Barnsley, came back to Orlando, and now he's made the permanent move to West Brom after Orlando finally caved and didn't get $1 billion for him. So this is good. This is another great move because he did so well at Barnsley. I think it would have been great to stick at Barnsley because they played with him, even though the soccer they played was absolutely dreadful. But to stay at West Brom, a recently relegated side, so they're again trying to push for promotion, and they're not on fire like Barnsley currently are. This will be good for him, and this is good for the MLS because then it's more players, through Pepe, through Sands, through Dike, all these players being exported to Europe to showcase that the MLS is a good, at this moment, incubator for talent, especially U.S. talent to go to Europe. And 2, it gets these guys some European minutes, which will lead in transition into the World Cup this December.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah, it's a good thing for sure. And, wasn't like kind of half the idea of MLS to like make a little incubator for American players to like get noticed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like it's working.
It's working. Sorry, Maddie.
It's alive. Yeah, so that's good. No, it's good for Daryl for sure. It seemed kind of like, I don't know. When you watch MLS, it's kind of like that's a player that like should be somewhere else. Kind of,
for sure.
He has the talent to be playing at a higher level than he currently is. So yeah, it's a good move for sure.
He was showcased in front of fans on the field January 2nd. The cool. Oh, go out in the field and juggle a ball for us and say hi to the fans.
Is that what he did?
That's like, I don't know if that's what he did, but like, that's what you see a lot in like, Eden Hazard came to Real Madrid, juggle a ball, say hi.
Did he know?
He did.
Did he ever come to Real Madrid?
He's been at Chelsea this entire time. So he hasn't played yet because work permits. So it's just one of those things. So we'll see him when we see him, basically. I don't know when that goes through. Partly why we like the players to go to Germany because they don't have that same issue. Blair, I'm seeing the timer on here. It's an hour and 22 minutes, so we're going to try and wrap this up quick.
Let's do it.
Got some housekeeping. I'm doing this out of order. Maddie has been working on a very cool new logo for the Plastics Podcast. It's emblematic of a crest you'd see on a team shirt, kind of like the Arsenal one that Blair's wearing right now. It's got a shield, and you're going to see it maybe floating above us right now. Sure, she says. So it'll be, for those of you watching at home on the YouTube, it's got Maddie's doodles, and it's got the rough sketch of the logo, but it's really cool, and it's going to be spinning because she's been working on some animation stuff on the side, which is really fun. And this kind of leads us into what I want to make a bit public to kind of push us to go for these changes. We're going to try and improve the content we put out for everyone as we keep going into this new 2022 year, because we got all vision boardy and we made some goals for ourselves. So expect better content. Better than excellent, which is what we currently are. And expect cooler content. We want to, kind of hone in on some data content, which is, I think, all the rage now as it gets more and more popular in the sport. And I'm excited to cover the rest of the Premier League season, to cover the summer break, to morally question the 2022 World Cup, and to continue the Plastics Podcast with you two.
Hell yeah, baby. Yes. Jacob.
Yes.
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 Okay, and we will close with some cool 2022 predictions.
Oh, boy. All right, let's make this fast.
Okay. Maddie, you can't see these. So did you want to make any predictions to close out the episode? Yeah. Thank you. Blair, I didn't write mine down because I didn't want you to hear them.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what am I can't write in invisible ink on here, so I'm not really sure what to do.
I just made it different.
I'm going to go through them very quickly, Jacob. I want an ooh if you agree or an ah if you disagree. How about that?
I'm going to say yes or no.
Okay, that's probably better. All right, number 1, City are going to win the league. That's boo. Yeah, yawn. Next, Mo Salah is your Golden Boot winner for the Premier League. Third, Manchester United finish no higher than 6th.
I read these beforehand.
Yeah,
and
I
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
because that I think is a hot call.
yeah. I mean, you got some of them. Got
That's the one you call the bookie for.
Some
You're
of them. Yeah,
I got a scoop for you.
What am I gonna say? Like pick the league winners. I think Real Madrid will have a nice season.
Yeah.
You gotta. I was gonna try to make one about Man City like crashing out of the Champions League, but I really couldn't find a way to formulate a sentence that would
No. I like this
enough
because I think long term people expect United to finish 4th.
Yeah.
But you don't say the highest they make is 6th.
Yeah.
Which I think they're at 7th right now.
Yeah.
So
they're stuck there.
Yeah. They ain't going nowhere. Okay, go on.
Men's national team is going to qualify for the World Cup and make it out of the knockouts.
I love that one.
That's going to be great. Can't wait for that. And sticking in the same vein, I don't think Italy are going to make the World Cup after winning the Euros.
See, this one does have some merit because they are in the weird playoff spot with where only 2 teams make it out, I think. So they have to beat
Portugal
and
like Moldova or something.
Yeah, the Titans of Moldova.
Or Macedonia, maybe?
Something. I don't know. But yeah, so it's it's going to be crazy because in this World Cup, one of Portugal or Italy or both will not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which,
when you look at the sides and what just happened, crazy. I think it would be a bigger statement to not have Portugal there because they just got some crazy hitters in that squad, and they don't have the excuse of, we just won the Euros. Of course, we're not going to be the same mentally prepared people like we were back then.
Yep.
It's not us. Okay. All right. I'm going to do mine now.
Cool.
I tried to make some calls to differentiate myself here. Number 1, Liverpool will win the Champions League.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that one's happening for sure. Number 2, AC Milan will win Serie A.
Cool.
Yeah, they'll come from behind Inter and steal the title.
It's close, man. I mean, it's close,
3, PSG will sell Mbappe in the summer.
Okay.
Purchase another big player.
Yeah, Christopher Nkunku.
I was thinking Paul Pogba, but yeah. Bring in Zidane.
Okay.
And nothing will change.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The United States men's national team will make it to the semifinals of the World Cup.
Okay. That is spicy.
I'm excited about this one because if it's true, I'm a genius. And if it's false, well, of course it's false. And then my final one, Crystal Palace squeeze into the top 6.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Ahead of Manchester United. That's going to be great.
So I think your Man U one is crazy, and I think my Crystal Palace one is crazy. So it just might be crazy enough. It just might work.
Excellent. To clarify the route for Italy and Portugal, Italy has to beat North Macedonia, and Portugal have to beat Turkey to meet each other in the final for Path C of the playoff.
Which will probably happen.
Probably.
Italy will almost certainly beat North Macedonia. And
don't count them out.
I think Turkey might beat Portugal.
That's possible.
In like 2 out of 10 matches if you were to simulate it.
Yeah.
So, exciting stuff. When do they play?
Oh, I just closed the tab.
Doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't care. Okay, so let's close out. Blair, thank you for offering your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about. Do you have anything to close out on?
No. Cheers.
Maddie? Fantastic. Happy 2022, everyone. This has been lovely, and you will hear from us next week.
You guys should rate, like, subscribe. Spotify now does likes, so please give us attention. Just leave us you guys are great review. That would be really nice. We survive off of this. Jacob's taking back the mic.
I was going to say questions are welcome. Questions about topics are welcome. As always, I say this every time. Thank you for reminding me about this one. We have to start doing this more.
We can do it in the beginning if it would help.
Yeah, let's do it in the beginning.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.